This is a short video of the different perspectives of a virtual classroom. We have the view of the lecturer and we have the view of the students. And some of you might not be familiar with the student's view and the options for a lecturer to hand over certain levels of control to the students. So here you see my meeting landing page, and this will all be familiar to you. We've set it up in the normal way and I can enter the meeting room. This follows the normal procedure where we'll ask if I want to be able to speak or just to listen. As a lecturer, I will want to use the microphone. It will sometimes ask you to allow the use of the microphone. I've already done that, and I can do the echo test, which works. And now I am in my presentation. I am in my virtual classroom and I have many options. I can start recording, I can annotate the slide I'm working on, I can upload a presentation, I can initiate a poll, mute students and create breakout rooms. I can see who are participating in my classroom, and I can go to the general chat. Now, if we go to the student view, here we have a landing page I created using an external URL, and the student can enter the room. This would be the way you let students enter, or external participants. We'll call this student, and they can enter the virtual classroom. Now, the student for this example will enter as a listener, but we will see that it is also possible for the student to switch back to microphone, even if they have chosen to be a listener only in the beginning. Now, the student is in the virtual classroom and this is what he or she sees. And compared to the lecturer view, there are a few things missing. The student cannot upload a presentation. There are no annotation tools on the right-hand side here. The student can use the settings, and the student can see the participants list and initiate a chat. Now, the student can do some interesting things here. If I look at myself as a student, I have a couple of options. If I click on myself as a student, I can set the status. This can be used in a very helpful way to show that students are either that the students understand the material, or if they are confused and may need some more clarification. If you, as a lecturer, monitor these statuses, which I will show you now. So let's say a student is happy. If I then go to the lecturer's view, then I can look at my my participation list, and I can see one student is happy. Back to the student view. So I can initiate a public chat message as a student, and I can also chat directly with the presenter. Now, I only have one student, but students can either talk on a public chat or with the presenter, and you as a lecturer can chat with each student individually or put a message on the public chat. But still, as a student, I do not have any way to control the presentation. Now, going to the lecturer's view, we see that we have some controls on the right side here. These are the top three are our annotation tools. I can add text, I can draw lines, I can draw on a screen. Let's remove all this. But I have another button which turns multi-user on. And if I toggle this option, the student will now be presented with the same annotation tools. So that means that the student can now also draw on your slide. Now, if you want to give the student more control, let's say we want to make them a presenter in this presentation, or you want them to present their own presentation. If we go to the lecturer's view, we're back in the lecturer's view, I can select a student and make them presenter. Now, going to this student, we see now that they don't, not only have the annotation tools, but they also have the multi-user switch. In fact, they have been given a lot of control over this presentation, over this virtual classroom. They can now share their screen and they can upload a presentation. They can also initiate a poll. In essence, they have become the presenter of this classroom. Now, this student entered the meeting as a listener only and has been given all these tools and access to the presentation, but cannot say anything because he or she entered as a listener. Now, we have the option here to leave audio. If we then join audio again, Brightspace will give us the option to select a microphone. It will go through the echo test and also ask you if this browser is allowed to use your microphone, and then the student can use their microphone to present part of the presentation. I will select listen only just for this video, but if you ever need as a student to switch between just being a listener and being able to talk, you can toggle this button twice and they'll be able to enter the meeting room using their microphones. Now, the student can advance through the slides, make annotations, change the presentation and do all kinds of things. If as a lecturer you want to make them a viewer again, let's go back to that lecturer's view. You can click on the student and click on yourself and make yourself presenter again, and then you get control over the virtual classroom, and the student, this is back in the student view, loses their controls over the meeting. So this is a way to give students more control over the virtual classroom. Now, if we go back to the lecturer's view and this is a little extra bit over creating breakout rooms. In breakout rooms, you can take selections of students and give them a private space to collaborate. They will be given all the tools they need, but these sessions will not be recorded. And how do you access this? You can go to breakout rooms, and of course, well, I can choose 2 breakout rooms. I only have 1 student, so it's allocated to room 1. If you have a whole list of students, you can drag those students into the room that you want with your mouse. There's an optional time limit for the breakout room, so that you can say, well, okay, groups have the option of spending, let's say, 5 minutes in little groups to discuss a certain topic. And you can hit create. And for the student, an extra an extra question will appear. You can join the breakout rooms, and now you get again the selection of microphone and listen only. Mostly the students will want to participate, will allow the use of microphone, will do an echo test. And you see the student has full control of the meeting. Actually, every participant in this breakout room will have full control over this meeting. To exit the breakout rooms, you can simply close the tab that has been opened. And as a lecturer, you have more options. So back to the lecturer's view. If now I've created these breakout rooms, I can invite people to go to breakout rooms. I can go to these breakout rooms individually, and if I click on one, it will open another tab. I can enter it, and if I am finished in this breakout room, I can just show the tab. But now I've entered the breakout room with the students, and I can coach them and see how they're interacting. But let's close out of this again. Let's say we're done with the breakout rooms. I can close all breakout rooms, and the student will, if we look at the student view, will go back to the main meeting and can select what kind of participant he or she is. I will select listen only. The lecturer will also get that view, and I will choose microphone. As a lecturer, I am presenting this meeting. So these are 3 elements of the virtual classrooms from a student perspective. This is one of the initial controls a student has if they enter the meeting, and we have not selected multi-user here on the bottom. Then we see that the student has no controls. If we allow multi-user options, then they are given a couple of controls, and if I make a student a presenter through the participants list right here, I can make them a presenter. The student will have all kinds of controls, being able to upload presentations, control breakouts, advance through the slides, etc., etc. So the student becomes the full presenter. I hope this gives a bit better overview of the possibilities and the student views of virtual classrooms.